Hello, and this is part 17. I just uploaded part 18. Still am. Less than a minute remaining now. So, back-to-back videos. Mentioned in the last one using new software. Hearing the playback, the audio had a hum in it on occasion. That was my fan. It kind of oscillates, so it doesn't happen all the time. Now I decided to screw the fan and turn down the air conditioning, so now there's going to be a constant drum the whole time. But luckily YouTube was very kind and added a cool new feature where near the resolution button there's a soccer ball. Go ahead and hit that and you can get a nice little hum for all your videos that you're watching. So that's nice and cool. But this is an important video because it's menu, and menu is always very, very important. The thing about menus is they should be uniform. My GUI is this. This will always be at the top. This is where my title of the game will go when it's done. This is my help menu. It is blank because the game's not done yet and I can't exactly do a tutorial when the game isn't done yet. So that'll be blank. But more importantly, my buttons match my GUI. You'll notice here that it's practically the same border. If I can get it up on the screen. It's practically the same border with text, and I did that for all the buttons. And then I got a cool looking background that'll go in the back of all of these screens. So those are the steps you really have to take to make a menu. Then you actually have to do it. So play, I have it room_go_to free play, because that's the only part of the game that's going to be done first. That's going to be like, if I were to release this as a game, it'd be the beta. That's how it works. I have help, which would go to one room, and then I'd have next and previous buttons. They'll go to the next and previous room, and I'll put them in a row. And then at the very end, I'll have a play button that'll let you play. And then we have quit, which instead of going to a room, goes to game_end. Now when you have a main menu and you quit a game, we have that old button quit on the menu. We have left pressed. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to room_go_to and in parentheses main menu. So now that we have our buttons and we named our rooms, we actually need to make them. So first let's make a main menu, and let's set the background to that cool looking background. I put it down a little far, so this is going to be transparent because there's nothing there. It'll blend in with your background of your computer. That's what I like about this curved little feature right there. It makes it a little bit sleeker and a cooler looking game. Then I put in some buttons, made sure they were centered, and made sure they were evenly spaced. That's very important. Now the title will go over here. It's very important that the title is not necessarily big, but extremely noticeable. If it's not extremely noticeable, it's not big enough or not flashy enough. This is going to be in a big thing at the top, so the text doesn't have to be so big, but it's incredibly noticeable, which is very important. Now there's no fancy views to this. The only important thing is that it's the exact same size as the playing window. I get very annoyed when the main menu is really, really small, maybe just around these 3 buttons, and then the game thing, the screen, practically explodes. And it's suddenly my entire screen. I find that very annoying, and when your screen sizes have to switch, it gets incredibly annoying, and it also takes time to load. So we have our free play, which is our normal one. We just had to change the name to free play. And lastly we have help menu. Help menu we won't have to change, but this is the background. I'll make it shorter and add a next. I'll put a previous and next. Then I'll put a play button on the last one, and I'll just keep adding menus that'll go for that for the tutorial. It'll be step by step with different pictures explaining things. So that'll be done later. So now I'm actually going to show you everything as it comes together. That's not the button I wanted to push. Alright, here we go. All the things I showed you last time, like buildings not going through, units not going through buildings, units automatically attacking, things like that. So we have help. I'm not going to show you quit, I'm not going to show you play, I'll show you help because it's the same thing as play, and then I can show you play. We're going to go ahead and make a building. Then we're going to go ahead and make a worker, so that way I can get some resources and show you my new unit. Going to grab some ore, there's something there, that's not good. I'm going to grab it and hopefully get away from the unit. Alright, because if my worker dies, that's not very productive. Alright, so now my fuel will be 300, I'm going to get my ore to 300, and then I'm going to create a new building and a new unit that I have. Now you'll notice if I select the worker and I try to go through the building, it's going to go around. The same thing if I go through a rock. Now I'm going to bring it around to the rock before it turns blue, and you'll notice that it goes around, just like before. Now that I have enough, I'll go ahead and make a new building that I have and a new unit. The new unit is called a tank, and it's incredibly slow moving, but it's the strongest thing you have. It's a ground vehicle, that's why it's slow moving, and it also has a very limited range. Now, unlike the you'll notice when I get close to it, it'll automatically start firing and it'll destroy itself. The same thing would have happened if it went close enough to the worker. It would have automatically started firing. The worker, that is, just like the enemy unit. Now, other things we added, what else did we add? The scrolling thing. When I was making a building, even though I moved the house in the center and scrolling was there, it didn't count as an object. So we're going to keep moving, we're going to attack this one, and this has a very limited range, it has to get really close to it. Alright, so that's most of the tweaks we did. The menu is simple yet effective. The GUI is nice after we finish that. I'm going to try and get this guy, and then I'm just going to end this. Come on. Alright, so let's go in there and we can quit, and it brings us to the main menu, and we can hit quit, and here we go. So next up we're going to be doing a couple part tutorial on making an enemy base. An enemy base that creates buildings, that creates units, that gathers resources. We're going to be making an enemy worker that's going to gather resources. We're going to make, and we're going to have it just build units. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to just have it gain oil until it doesn't have any more, and it's just going to build a building. We're not going to have it create tons of buildings, we're just going to give it everything it needs, and the building will have AI that'll create units when it has enough resources, depending on how many units there are, what unit to make, and all this sorts of stuff. And we'll be doing that next time. It'll take a couple tutorials, but it'll really make the game better because now you have a computer that's smart and that's just as strong as you are, and you'll need to put some strategy into beating it. So that's what's coming up next. If you have any suggestions, please make them. Thanks for watching. Please rate and please comment.